Good afternoon, everyone. This is Arvind Khanduri joining for the Ailet First Impressions. So now that your Ailet exam is over, it's just the right time to understand how the paper went. Was it easy, difficult, and also speak to our experts what are the kind of cutoffs we are expecting, and also obviously a detailed analysis of Ailet 2024. So some information has already started coming into the centers in terms of the level of difficulty of the paper, also section-wise analysis. Our experts are already on it. So post this session, we will have an elaborate analysis of Ailet 2024. But before we do that, we have a couple of students, some who've just written the Ailet 2024 exam a few hours ago. And then we'll also be taking some time to talk to some of our ex-students who are already studying in NLU Delhi. So all this and more. First, I would like to connect to one of CP's current batch students, Devi. She has written the exam just a few hours back. So I think it would be very opportune to speak to her and understand the first impression that our students had of Ailet 2024. So Devi, how are you doing?
I'm great, sir. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. So Devi, I can see you've come to our Hazratganj Lucknow center just after writing your exam. So tell me something. What's your first impression? How did it go?
So I think a good number attempts for this paper would definitely be anywhere above 125 because it was while it was a lengthy paper, it was not a difficult to understand paper.
Okay.
So it was not a difficult to comprehend paper, and therefore I feel that anywhere between 125 to 140 is a good number of attempts for this paper specifically. While I was attempting the paper, I also observed that the English section of the paper was far easier than other sections. So, I mean, if a student is a very good student, they can actually expect somewhere between 45 and 50 in this section. So there were 50 questions, and out of 50 questions, one can expect, if they have done it really well, then they can expect somewhere between 45 and 50.
So
It was done well, then they can expect somewhere between 45 and 50.
So Devi, I'll cut you there. I've been told that there were 7 passages. Okay.
Yes,
and in terms of difficulty level, it was quite easy. And
yes,
as you
sir,
said that the passages were lengthy. There were 50 questions. And obviously, one question on tonality of the passage. There was no figure of speech, those sort of questions. And to that extent, yes, as you said, moderately easy paper. So would you like to elaborate further on RC?
Yes, sir. And also, since most of the questions, majority of the questions were specific detailing questions, details we had to find out from the passage. So that actually helped us save our reading time as well, because we could first look at the question and then find the answer from the passage as well. So that saved upon a lot of reading time as well. For me personally, I was able to attempt these 50 questions in under 30 minutes, thankfully. So I think that saved us a lot of time as well. So this was a very time-saving, section of the paper, and it did not cost us a lot of time. Then when we went on to
moving on to, if you said that English was relatively easy, and I've been told that reasoning is something that a section that will probably decide the kind of cutoffs, because reasoning was, if you can say, moderate. It wasn't, we can't call it easy. That's the first feedback that I have been receiving. So there has been a feedback which says that the Ailet 2024 paper of reasoning was, we can say, a exact replica of the 2022 Ailet exam. There has been some bit of legal questions. We've been told around 8 to 10 legal questions. In terms of AR, there were 9 questions, and the CR questions were around 50, right?
Yes, sir.
And then again, one of the feedback, some of the feedbacks that the students are giving is they are saying that it was heavy on solo CR and deductive logic. So would
Yes.
you want to contest that, or was that what you felt?
No, sir, absolutely not. There was a lot of solo CR. In fact, I think there was only one passage-based CR question which I found, and legal was heavy this time. You know, usually we don't get a lot of legal, but we did get a lot of legal this time as well. Fact, principle-based and fact-based legal. Solo CR was a lot. There were a few questions where I was also stuck at deciding whether out of two options which one would be correct. And I think this was a moderately difficult section, you know, somewhere between moderate to difficult. I won't say very difficult, but also not easy. And this took up most of my time actually, around 45 to 50 minutes. This took up very easily, and I believe that anyone who has fared well in this section, I think they should be able to get a good score, because this section was comparatively difficult to other sections as well.
Okay. So how many questions did you attempt there?
So in totality, out of the paper, I have attempted 137 questions,
Okay.
and
And in the
I
reasoning
left
section out of 70, have you already?
reasoning section out of 70. I attempted 67 questions. I left three questions because I was unsure of the answers. So rather than risking negative marking, I just thought that I should leave those questions.
Okay. So that is as far as the reasoning section was concerned. In terms of GK, what was your experience? What did you feel when you wrote the GK paper?
So GK was very current affairs based. Usually, you can expect Ailet to give a lot of static GK and modern history sort of GK. But this time it was very current affairs based, very relevant to what happened in the past year, you know. And I think GK was fairly easy. So not very easy per se, because it required a lot of definition knowing as well. You know, economic terms definitions were asked, and that might have been a place where some people were stuck. So, for example, in one of the economic definition questions, I was stuck as well because I do not exactly have an economic background. So
Okay.
that maybe where people were stuck, but it was fairly easy. So I think attempting anywhere, above 22 should get a good score.
Okay,
A
so
good score
Devi,
would be.
you sound quite confident, and just like some of the other students that I have spoken to, and what is coming out is that GK section, while what you call as moderate difficulty, the students are ecstatic that, in terms of what CP has, taught in class, it was pretty relevant. In fact, some of the students are saying that, it seemed as if what was taught in the class is what was in the paper. So that is something that is heartening to know.
Sorry to interrupt, sir. But I honestly, while giving the paper, just felt like I was giving another CP mock. The standard was of a very good CP mock that we have given in the past few months. And the GK was pretty much what we've learned in class. There was nothing out of sorts from GK that had come. You know, we were very blindsided that this we have not learned at all, or this we have not studied. The GK which had come was all we had studied in class.
Fantastic.
Pretty
That's
helpful.
very good to hear, Devi. So, Devi, I've been told that you have to run, you have a train to catch. So, all the best for your results, and thank you for all the feedback that you gave. We'll connect with the Hazratganj Center as and when, we feel we need more
Yes, sir.
information.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
sir. Thank you very
So, that was Devi from Hazratganj Center. Now, I'm just wondering, we have our last year's student, Krishna Agarwal. Krishna is a CP student from last year, and he had an All India rank of 67 in Ailet. So I will just, so I think Krishna is there. Krishna is also, he's currently studying at NLU Delhi. As I mentioned to you, his All India rank of Ailet 2023 was 67, and he is joined by Vibhakar Mittal, who again had an Ailet rank of 52 in Ailet 2023 exam, and both of them are currently doing their BA LLB program, and they're in the first year of NLU Delhi. So over to you guys, Krishna and Vibhakar. I could see you all discussing, with the current batch of our students and getting a first-hand feel as to how Ailet 2024 looked like. And who better than to, give a feedback to us, because you've been there last year and you've done so well. So please share with me the first impressions that you got from speaking to the students today.
Sure, sir. Thank you, sir. So, hello everyone. I'm Krishna. So, we tried to analyze the paper and we also took some feedbacks from the test givers. And one of the common things that we got was that there was a lot of fear, a lot of apprehension.
I'm sorry, Krishna, if you guys could come a little closer to the mic. I mean, yeah, your voice is...
Are we audible now?
Yeah, much better.
Okay. Yeah, so as I was saying, we took some feedback from some of the test givers, and the common feedback that we got was that there was a lot of fear, doubts, and apprehension about what the pattern was going to be. So I think there was.
Krishna, I'm just wondering if you are audible there, because there seems to be some bit of a glitch there in the sound. So can somebody see that, please? Yeah. Yeah, Krishna, go ahead.
Am I audible now?
Yeah, Krishna, better.
Am I audible?
Yeah, go ahead.
So as I was saying, the pattern was not as...
Okay, Krishna, Krishna, excuse me, I think there's some issue with the technical side around there. So what we'll do is we'll take a break and I'll cut you off the screen now, and then we'll connect you when it gets better there. So in the interim, can we connect with CP Delhi, because I see them online for a while now. CP Delhi. Hi, good afternoon, CP Delhi. What's happening? So today you guys wrote your exam, Ailet exam?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And you've been there at the center. What is the kind of vibe there? What were the other students, other test takers? What is the kind of sentiment that they felt today? In general, what do you feel about Ailet 2024?
Sir, the paper was, I would say, somewhat...
Please introduce yourself.
I'm Krish, and...
Sir, my name is Kumar Shaurya.
Great. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yes, sir, I would say the paper was rather lengthy, and English section was, as said, very easy enough, and GK was also current affairs based, and there were also a few economic background questions that I felt easy because I am from a commerce background. And coming to logical section, there were 70 questions, which I felt was very lengthy enough, and somewhat were tricky also. So that is what confused me the most in all of the paper.
Okay. What about you?
Sir, I would totally agree with him. The paper was lengthy, but it was around from easy to moderate. The GK was easy, and English, of course, was very easy. The questions of GK were extremely, relatable, and I have, just revised them. So, definitely the logical was extremely lengthy. The passages were long, the questions were lengthy, and they were not difficult, but they were lengthy. So I would say overall that the
So
paper
if I were to ask you, how long did you take to do the 50 questions in RC, which everybody is saying were lengthy? Because the difficulty level was easy.
I took 52 to 53 minutes around.
The same, sir. Around 1 hour I took. Around 1 hour.
Okay. And everybody is saying that if you were to call tricky, the trickiest section probably that was there today for the test takers was the reasoning section, right?
Definitely.
If we were to compare it with RC and GK, it was really, it was moderately difficult on a relative basis, right? And what was your feedback when it came to the difficulty level of RC and the kind of questions? Because there were some legal questions, some AR, but the maximum number of questions were around CR.
Yes, sir. I felt the legal question was somewhere out of the blue, and I did not expect them in the legal section. The logical section. And I was pretty I was shocked at seeing the lengthiness of the logical section. Right, 70 questions. I did not expect such of them. And yes, they were tricky enough questions. AR also was a bit tricky, I guess.
Okay.
Yes, sir, definitely they were tricky. And I had expected legal questions in the logical part because I saw the previous year papers. So I saw the same pattern there also. So
Yeah,
I
because
had an like feeling that it might come this year also. So I had practiced that. So yeah, it was tricky, but not that much. I would
yeah,
say
because
the
as I shared earlier, one of the feedbacks is that the reasoning section was very similar to the ALET 2022 paper. So
Yeah,
I
yes,
get
sir.
what
Yes,
you're
sir.
saying. So all in
yes,
all,
sir.
if you were to summarize, you guys are happy with your performances today?
Yes, sir, you can say.
I would say I
Okay.
would have attempted a lot more, but I got taken back because of the logical section somewhat.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
fair enough. So now as the CLAT results probably in all its probability will be out today, and ALET we've
Yes, sir.
just come out of. So to that extent, let's keep our fingers crossed, and I wish you all the best there, and I hope to see you soon. All right? Thank you very much, CP
Thank you,
Delhi.
sir.
Thank you, sir.
So that was CP Delhi. And now, if the audio glitch has been rectified, I would like to again connect to Krishna and Vibhakar, who are sharing with me in terms of what they've spoken to the current batch of students and what is the first cut ALET 2024 looks like. So over to Krishna and Vibhakar once again. Yes, Krishna.
So are we audible now?
Yeah, much better. Now this is what I like. Great.
Okay, so as I was saying, the general feedback seems to be a sigh of relief because the pattern is not what our pattern had come about. It is the same as the 2022 pattern. It is very similar to the 2022 pattern. So they've not followed the 12 questions for each passage pattern, which turned out to be pretty difficult for a lot of people. So I think from that aspect, it is slightly easier to last year's. And the general AR questions seem to be simple. They're not too difficult. The coding questions in particular are taking some time because the logic is oversimplified and you wouldn't normally go for that logic. You'll try to find some hidden logic which is not there. So you might have spent some time there if you attempted the coding questions. And I think if you're having 2 hours to attempt the whole paper, it was not as difficult as they might have expected it to be. So I think overall
Okay.
it would have been a very good experience for the test givers.
Great.
Test takers.
What about you Vibhakar? What do you feel the same? Vibhakar, you are not audible. No. Again, I think there's some glitch there. I cannot hear you, Vibhakar. So while there seems to be some issues which I think probably they'll sort it out in a bit. So stay there, Vibhakar. I'll get back to you. Right. So that was Krishna and Vibhakar. Once again, our CP ex students. Last year, Krishna had an 67 ALET All India rank, and Vibhakar had an All India rank of 52 in ALET 2023. So both of them are currently NLU students, so their feedback obviously matters quite a lot. In the meanwhile, I will just ask the technical team if we can also connect to one of our past students, Arshia. Arshia was All India rank 3, ALET 2023. And she is also currently pursuing her BA LLB from NLU Delhi. So Arshia, are you there?
Yes, so am I audible?
Hi Arshia, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. Am I
Arshia, good
audible?
to see you, and I hope you are doing well and making CP proud once again during your stint in NLU Delhi. So over to you. I'm sure you've spoken to a lot of test takers and seen how ALET 2024 paper looks like. So what is your first cut impression of ALET 2024?
So again, like a lot of people have already reiterated, this paper was an exact copy of the 2022 paper. But let's keep in mind that that paper, the students attempting the 2022 paper had to attempt it in 1.5 hours. But here, people had 2 hours. So I think it was a very easily attemptable paper in the sense that a lot of people might have been able to cross the 150 marks finish line. And overall, I think it was easy because there were a lot of questions that people usually practice for, people usually encounter when they're giving CT mocks. And I've not talked to a lot of Ailet test takers directly because I'm back at home, but I've gotten to hear about it. And I think the general impression was one that it was, again, easily attemptable. And overall, the GK was very easy. The English section was pretty easy with their tone based questions, with their grammar questions, and everything. And the logical reasoning portion, I think that was something that people faced some problem with because instead of reading one passage and then solving 5 questions, 5 to 6 questions that were based on that one passage, they had to read 4 to 5 lines for each question, plus the time that it took to actually come up with an answer to understand what the question was asking. So overall, in that sense, they found logical reasoning to be tougher as compared to other sections. But again, overall, I think the cutoff should go around 105, 107, something like around that easily.
Okay. So, Arsha, you are saying it was quite a doable paper, nothing significantly that stands out or something that's very difficult. And since it's a 2-hour paper, so to that extent, yeah, and that probably made things better. Also,
Essentially.
one thing that I would ask to like to ask you, Arsha, you are currently in NLU Delhi, and you obviously been trained at our CP Center. So why don't you share with you a feedback about your experience with CLAT Possible, and currently now that you are amongst the best and one of the best law schools in India, how do you feel? I mean, looking back at your experience with CLAT Possible.
I think my journey with CLAT Possible has been amazing. In all honesty, it did not end when the paper was over, when the results came. I've been associated with the teachers there, for example, Silpi ma'am and Priyanka ma'am, even now. Even now, if I have any doubts related to any big thing that I have in college as well, for example, I had this major interviews a month back, and I really needed someone to sort of help me through it. And I reached out to Priyanka ma'am and Silpi ma'am, and they helped me a lot with that. So I think CLAT Possible as a center is one that puts in a lot of effort towards your personal growth. It does not only focus on it. Basically, your journey with it does not stop when the paper gets over. It stays there. It's a family that you're building. It's connections that stay over for long.
No, that's great
So
words. Arsha makes us feel very happy, and we are so proud to see you doing so well. Right? So, thank you for your time, Arsha. It was
thank you
great
so much.
talking to you, and we wish you all the best in your journey and first year NLU Delhi, and a long way ahead. But a great start is always fantastic. So, thank you there, Arsha. Now. That was Arsha, who, as we had mentioned, she's a All India Rank 3 in Ailet 2023, currently at NLU Delhi. So now we also have Kavleen Kaur with us. So can we connect to Kavleen Kaur?
Yes, sir.
Hi, Kavleen. Can you introduce yourself? Which center are you from?
I'm from CP Chandigarh and I have been a part of 2 years course and Vidhi along with me.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, sir.
So I assume that you have written your exam and you just came back to give this feedback,
Yes, sir.
which is really appreciated. So again, we've been hearing a lot of feedback from the students that have been coming to our center here personally, and then obviously a lot of WhatsApp messages, lots of calls, lots of video calls. All this while our faculty members, interact with our students on phone, on through WhatsApp, and that obviously has given us a lot of solid feedback. So my question to you is, maybe you've heard some of the students sharing their feedbacks in the last couple of minutes. So is your feedback pretty much similar, or is it something that you want? I mean, is there something that you want to add on to what you've already heard?
It is more or less similar only because it was on little on the lengthier side, but English was more or less moderate. It was not very difficult, but the logical was, I feel that it was kind of difficult. Like syllogism, we saw like a lot of questions from the syllogism topic. So yeah, logical was a bit difficult, but I feel English was moderate.
Moderate. And there was no
Yeah.
figure of speech, no grammar, that sort of, those questions were
Exactly.
not
Yeah.
there.
I think only one question came for tones as well. Yeah. Like vocabulary and like tones and figures of
Participle
speech
phrase,
was
only one
very
question.
limited.
Okay. And in terms of inference-based, deduction-based questions in
It
RC,
was easy to eliminate the options in that, so it was not very difficult.
so you
AR
could
was
always
also
go back
easy.
to the section, though obviously the passages we are told were long. Some of them, the passages were long. So you probably did not need to read the entire passage. You could go back to the passage specifically, hunt for the answer, and then take it. So probably while it was a long paper, it was something that was manageable. It was not something that left you stranded there.
Even if the passages were long, the main point was very easy to figure out. So we did not have to go back to the passage to answer the questions. Like it was
Okay.
possible to solve them even if you skim through the passage.
Okay, so skimming was something that I understand was used quite a lot by students today. And so, if I were to ask you, how many questions did you attempt today?
So for her, I think she attempted 129 questions, and I attempted 117. And overall, even GK was quite easy, because maybe it was easy for us because we did all those topics in class, but it was moderate. It was not very difficult. Like we saw in CLAT, it was extremely easy, and even those who did not have any knowledge whatsoever, even they were able to attempt 20 plus. I feel this time it was more of static and like current mix. Static was also there, like
Yeah,
simple current affairs.
yeah, mostly
Static
current
was also
affairs.
there.
That is what again the feedback has been. And as I mentioned earlier, one of the feedback that is coming from all the centers across India, all the CP centers, is that the GK section, while everybody is saying it was an easy GK section, but one of the things that probably CP students got the benefit of was that in the class, most of these questions, these topics had already been discussed at length, and so to that
Yes.
extent, it held them, on a great level when you compare it with the other test takers. So to that extent, fantastic work done by Team GK. What about reasoning? Because the only, as per the feedback, the reasoning might be something, which might play around with the cutoffs there, because as you all said, reasoning was slightly tricky, if you were to compare it with
It was
GK
more
and
on a
English.
difficult side, according to me,
Okay.
because like we have to attempt one question and one para was given, so time bhi zyada laga. So that was the point. Like previous year, like we have there was one passage and we have to attempt logic and English from that only. So the time, like time savior tha thoda sa. But this time I feel that it was more on a difficult side.
And you would feel the same about
Yes,
the.
exactly. It
Okay.
was a little difficult.
Okay. So one more question to you, because you calling from Chandigarh. So what was the kind of sentiment going around when all the students came out of their test centers, and probably you got some chance to interact with them, or
Actually,
you.
we learned a lot from CLAT because a lot of people were happy after CLAT, but we saw the answer sheet, so it was not up to the mark. Exactly. So a lot of people were controlling their emotions even if the paper went really good. So
Okay, so to that extent, as you're saying that a lot of students who probably did very well in the CLAT exam, they were like, okay, anyways, they were slightly more relaxed because they obviously knew that they already have a big backup already there. So anyways, we will not have to wait for too long, considering in all its probability, the results will be out for CLAT 2024 today. And so we all are keeping our fingers crossed at CP, and I'm sure you are too. Right? So thank you again, girls. Talking to you was fantastic, and thanks for taking time off. And even though I understand that you've just written your exams and you all, in all its probability, you are in a mood to relax for the next couple of days. Right? So all the best and take care. That was CLAT Possible Chandigarh, and speaking to Kableen there. So basically, in a nutshell, as I said, pretty similar, pretty common feedback that is coming, that the English section quite lengthy, but doable. It was not something out of the box, and with the kind of preparations that the students, the CP students had, it was what we might call as probably a cakewalk. All right. So while lengthy paper, 50 questions, right? But questions were probably, you could go back to the passage and you could skim the passages even though they were long, and probably these were the kind of tricks that one needed to do in Ailet 2024 RC section to do well there. And reasoning again, same feedback. I think the trickiest part of Ailet 2024 paper today, and some of the students, they felt that if on a relative scale, this was something that was tricky. And GK, again, by and large, everyone's calling the GK paper easy. But one of the things that we can also say is that, the CP students are exceptionally, or, they are very, very excited about the GK section, because they felt that whatever was taught in the classroom was what was asked. So to that extent, that is what Ailet 2024 paper looked like today. Now, we also have Devesh Mishra, who will join us from our CP Center in Mumbai and share with us his feedback on today's paper. So, Devesh, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Am I audible?
Devesh, you are audible, but I cannot see you. So, if you can turn your camera on. Yes. Hi, Devesh.
Hi, sir. Hi. Hope you're doing well.
I'm doing well. So how does it feel? Two strenuous exams, almost back to back, CLAT 2024, Ailet 2024. We've already had a word on CLAT. So now, Ailet 2024. I mean, what is your first impression now? Because it's just been, I think, 2-3 hours since you wrote the exam. What is the top few things that come to your mind when you think of Ailet 2024?
So it was a comparatively easy paper as far as the past year papers are concerned. And fortunately, our marks 8, 9, 10, 8, 9, and 10, Ailet marks 8, 9, 10 were accustomed to this specific pattern. And I think it played out really well for us. And GK also was a very good section. I mean, easy 20 plus scoreable. And as far as logical and other sections are concerned, I think anyone could score. I think 100 would be a good estimated cutoff in this paper, according to me. Personally, it played out well for me because Ailet was my target exam compared to CLAT. So I had done specific Ailet related preparation. For that example, a lot of people missed out on it, but हमारे LMS में we have single liner CR around 1000, 1200 questions. And I used to do that for like time pass or just warm up before mocks. And that played out really well for me in that case because our entire reasoning section was single liner CR or something similar like that. So it was a good paper for me overall. But again, वो वही बात है, cutoff वाला optimism is kind of scary at times. But I attempted 142 questions, so it's not that problematic as such.
No, that's a very good attempt, Devesh, and I'm happy that you are saying, that especially LMS and some parts of it were especially critical in doing well, especially in the reasoning section, which everyone is terming as the most tricky part of Ailet 2024, right? So also in terms of, in your center, what was the feedback of some of the other test takers that you might have interacted with? Was it the general mood around that, great paper, not so difficult?
So the general feedback was everyone was satisfied with the, how the paper was set. I mean, after CLAT was really a setback for a lot of us in terms of how well reasoned the paper was. So compared to it, everyone was really, really satisfied with how well Ailet was curated as a paper. Secondly, they realized that, unlike CLAT, we also had certain areas to gain an edge. So, for example, if anyone who has done their GK diligently would have easily scored around 20 25, 20 above easily. So I think that's a very nice place for anyone. It is also a place where I can say that giving enough sectionals also helped me in realizing how to manage my time. So I think manage their time. So these were mostly the reactions of my friends from CLAT Possible. I also had some friends who were not, and I could see a general surprise in the fact that they were not accustomed to the older pattern, the pattern until Ailet 2022. They were used to the 12 mark passages. So
Okay.
that was a general shock. Otherwise, it was comparatively a very comfortable paper. In
Great.
fact,
So,
considering the two-hour
which
time,
is, yeah.
in fact, considering the 2 hour time, I think it was probably even the easiest paper as far as I have given in terms of the past year papers, official ALET papers.
Okay, that's very heartening to hear, Devesh. And what makes us, happy is that at CP, the kind of inputs that were given, right, the kind of online support, the kind of guidance and experts mentoring, and that has really helped the CP students. And no wonder the kind of the general vibe around is quite exciting. I mean, people are generally excited, okay, and very enthusiastic. So I really hope that this your dream of making it to NLU Delhi will be realized very soon. And on that note, thank you very much, Devesh. That was Devesh Mishra, our student from CP Mumbai, right? Moving on, we also have access to our center in Kanpur right now, and we have one of our students who will share with us her feedback on how today's paper looked like. So, CP Kanpur.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. How are you doing?
I am well. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. So, why don't you introduce yourself and share with us, your experience with Ailet 2024.
All right. I am Palakshi Pandya, a student at CP Kanpur. So my experience with the paper was, it was not a very surprising change of pattern that happened because we were accustomed with this pattern because we had practiced this. I think the most important thing was to choose the right section to begin with. English was fairly easy. It was pretty straightforward, except for one passage, which was reference based, and you had to pay a lot of attention to what the author is actually trying to talk about. GK was very easy. It was easier than I had anticipated. Moving on to logical, again, logical was lengthy sort of, but it was not very difficult because we had done those type of questions in our class sheets. We had done those type of questions on the tests that were available on test zone. So it wasn't per se a very difficult section. The Silogs questions were pretty easy. It was very assumption based. There were a lot of questions on assumptions. So that was something that was a bit surprising. There were way too many questions and assumptions, but otherwise it was a fairly easy paper.
Okay, that's great to hear. So, how many questions did you attempt overall?
I attempted, I believe, 128 questions.
And you're happy with your attempts?
I am happy with my attempts, so I'm a bit scared about the accuracy of those. But yeah.
Yeah, obviously, accuracy is something that's going to play a decisive role in today's exam because the attempts have generally been high considering the paper was moderately easy, if that's how I can put it. So, also, did you get time to speak to some other test papers, other test takers, and understand how is that the general sentiment what you mentioned, or are the people feeling something else?
I was able to talk to a few people over there from my center, and most of them were actually satisfied with what they had performed in the paper. Most of them again were not really that perplexed by the entire pattern change. They were happy with the questions. A lot of them found the paper very lengthy. So
Yeah,
the
lengthy is
attempt.
something that obviously everybody is saying that it was a lengthy paper, especially because of the RC section. Yes, thank you for your feedback, and we really hope that you all score well and pave your way to NLU Delhi, right? Anything else that you might want to add?
No, I don't think so. Thank
Okay,
you.
so thank you so much for finding time and to speak to us, and I wish you all the best. Okay, so that was CLAT Possible Center straight from Kanpur. So as we've spoken to a couple of centers, and the feedbacks that the students are giving us is they are quite positive about the way they have written the exam today. They are confident, and they are also hopeful that all the hard work, all the efforts that have been put by their mentors, by the faculty members, the time has come for them to bear fruit, which we are very, very confident will. And with that, while a lot of feedback has come, I was just wondering if we can speak to Vibhakar, because last time his audio, there was some glitch there. So if we can connect with Vibhakar. Vibhakar, as I mentioned, is last year Ailet All India rank 52 and currently pursuing the BA LLB course from NLU Delhi. Okay, so I think maybe Vibhakar has left the office. No worries. We've spoken to quite a few current batch students from our CP centers across India: New Delhi, Chandigarh, Kanpur, Mumbai, Delhi, and obviously Lucknow. And we've also had the time to speak to our last year's toppers like Krishna, Vibhakar, Arshia, all of them who have done CP proud. So now I can see that we are again connected to Vibhakar. Hi Vibhakar, I hope your audio works this time around. Yeah, so you were sharing with us some of the insights, and we were interrupted by the technical glitch there. So now that seems to be sorted. So Vibhakar, over to you. Share with us your whatever you understood of today's paper.
I think the cutoff will be much higher than last year, which was around 59 or 58, I believe.
Vibhakar, you have to come a little closer to the mic and speak a little louder.
Yes, sir. Am I audible?
Yeah, better.
Yes. I think the cutoff will be much higher than last year because the pattern this year around was not of 23 but instead of 22, which is on the easier side. Plus this time the aspirants had 2 hours instead of 1.5 hours.
Okay.
So I think the cutoff will be 100 plus easily, and the AR was pretty. I think the aspirants would be much happier. Like last year, when we were out of the exam center, we were not happy because we didn't know the how the pattern was, and it was unexpected. I think this time the aspirants would be happy.
Okay, so fair point. Yes, we are all waiting with bated breath for the cutoffs to come in, because our set of experts, our faculty members, our mentors, they are all analyzing today's paper, and in the next couple of minutes they will also be sharing with you they will not only analyze the papers, they'll also give us a good understanding of what are the kind of cutoffs that we can expect, right? So for that we have to wait for some bit. In the interim, Vibhakar, you've spoken to a couple of students, so while I got your feedback, what are they feeling? Are they are happy with their performance levels? Are they seeing their way to one step ahead to NLU Delhi with today's exam?
I think the aspirants are happy because the paper was much the easier side, and it would be bad.
Okay, so in all they are pretty happy and pretty satisfied with the way they have performed. So we will have to wait some more while for the Ailet results, but surely enough today evening we will also get our CLAT results. So a lot of hopefuls waiting with bated breath for today's CLAT results as well. And Ailet seems to have gone well for most of the students, and only time will tell, who gets which college. So on that note, I would thank you all for being patient and joining us for today's session. And as I mentioned, please do not log out, because very soon we will be joined by our team of experts, our faculty members, who will be discussing threadbare Ailet 2024 paper. And they will also share with you the kind of cutoffs that we can expect to see for the Ailet exam, right? So on that note, thank you everyone for speaking to us, all our students, all our CP students, for taking time off and sharing with us, their feedbacks. We wish all the students who've written their CLAT 2024 and Ailet 2024 this year, we wish them best, and we hope to see you guys very soon in the top law schools across India. So on that note, this is Arvind Khanduri signing off. Take care. All the best.
Thank you, sir.